What's up, family? We are back. What's up? What's up? What's up? We are back. Happy Friday. We got to talk. Because I want y'all to know some things. It's funny because my energy has been talking about manifestation a lot, and I guess that's because a lot of great things are happening in my life, and I want y'all to know how and why you need to be making manifest. How to manifest. I can tell you how to do it, but I can also tell you some of the things that stop you from manifesting the things that you desire, right? What song is on my head right now? It is that I Want You Around by Snow Allegra. It is it's not that I don't want you here. It's something about the way you stare into my eyes. I know that I don't make things clear. I fall for you every time I try to resist you. We can get away. Palm trees, beach views, ordinary days. All I want to hear is inner visions on replay. Sitting right next to you. I try not to show how I feel about you. Thinking we should wait, but we don't really want to. I just want to get away and sitting right next to you. I don't want to kiss you. Yeah, I just want to feel you. Feel you. I want you around. Around. I want you around. Around. I want you around. Around. I want you around. Hey, Daisha. Around. Who knows that song? So beautiful. Sis killed it. Sis killed that song. But something that makes that song just stand out for what I got to talk to y'all about today is she says, I fall for you every time I try to resist you. All the things that you resist the most, you manifest the quickest. All the things that you manifest the most, that you resist the most, you manifest the quickest. I got some stories to tell y'all on how I know. Okay? I fall for you every time I try to resist you. Come on, Innocent. Okay. My incense don't want to go into this incense holder. It's trying to. Okay, there we go. So let me say what's up to the family first. What's up, Daisha over here on Instagram? What's up, Outre Jadin? Hopefully I said that right. Or Jaden. What's up, Sun in the Moon? What's up, Mangy? Carl Robinson. What's up, Love? What's up, Christelle? What's up, Exo Chilt? What's up, Hathor? What's up, Sierra? What's up? On time, in tears. You ain't called me right on time, in tears. Oh, we got to talk about it, Sierra. All right, y'all. So I want to talk to y'all about why the things that you are seeking to manifest are not. Let me switch that. I want to talk to y'all about why you are manifesting things that you don't want. Right? The brokenness, the toxic relationship, the lack of passion, the lack of health, all of these things that you don't want. I want to talk to you about why you are indeed manifesting those things. Okay? Because I can tell you all the time about how to manifest what it is that you do want. But the same laws, the same energy, the same focus, the same cause and effect that leads you to manifest the things that you do want has the same ability when it comes to the things that you don't want. And it's so much easier to think about the things that you don't want than it is to think about the things that you do want, and to put energy and to put love and to put emotion and to put focus into the things that you want to manifest. And it's easier to think about the negative. It's easier to think about the things that you be praying never happen to you, because we have been so traumatized in our everyday life, right? In everything from media, from parents, everything that really is put out there to us is always, it can be real negative. So it can be easy to think about the things that you don't want and hard to focus on the things that you do want when the world around you is in chaos. Okay? So I want to tell y'all why you are manifesting the things that you don't want, and I want to show you and explain to you how you can navigate this thing, right? And how you can start transforming and doing the mental, spiritual self alchemy to where your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your vibration is one that is really open to the manifestation of your desires. Okay? How many of y'all have manifested some things that you did not want, and then when you look up, you're like, what the hell is this? This is not what I wanted. Things are not happening the way I was hoping for them to happen. How many of y'all have ever had that experience? I know I have, and I can tell y'all so many stories. I'm going to talk to y'all about it, give you examples of it, okay? Something that I didn't want to hold on to baby weight after I had my kids. I didn't want to, because I was always an athlete. I always had a nice, lean, tone, athletic build physique. Having children, I resented and I was resistant to putting on a lot of weight, to not being able to drop weight, to not being able to bring my body back to what it was pre-baby. And because it was such a strong emotion that I did not want to, or a strong experience that I did not want to manifest, I manifested it. I did not drop weight like that after I had my kids. Okay? People would always ask me if I was pregnant, and I wasn't. And I resisted that. I resisted that so bad. I tried to dress in a way that would disguise what I had going on up under here, and people would still ask me, "Are you pregnant?" And I'm like, "No." Oh my God, Dream will tell y'all that used to be the worst for me. I used to hate it, resist it, and really have resentment towards myself for how I did or did not take care of myself during pregnancy, and why that manifested the body that I had after pregnancy. Resistance and resentment are strong energies that will make you indeed manifest the things that you don't want to have. Okay? And so that bounce back body that everybody be talking about after they have a baby, after my first kid, I was like, oh yeah, I'm about to have that. Oh no, I will never be the person who has a baby and I can't get back into my old clothes and I can't look fine, look sexy and all of that stuff like that. That will never be me. And honey, it ended up being me. And for so many months after I had my first kid, KJ, who I just posted a picture of him on Instagram. So make sure y'all are following me on Instagram so you can see that picture. But after I had him, my body was juicy and I was still looking like I was 4 or 5 months pregnant. Okay? So I say all of that to say you have to release the resistance to certain experiences. Okay? On a very intimate, personal level, resistance is when you are going against the flow, right? When you are going against the flow of what is taking place. When you are like, no, 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 no. I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. Here's what you got to understand though. See, when you say I don't want, or when you say I am not, the universe doesn't understand don't. The universe doesn't understand not. The universe only understands those key, important, powerful words, which of course is I am and whatever follows after that. You cannot say I am not depressed. Universe only hears I am and depressed. So you are resisting depression. Oh no, I don't want to be depressed. Oh no, I ain't gonna be depressed. I am not depressed. I am not depressed. I am not gonna experience depression. Then before you know it, you like, damn, I am depressed. And you've manifested situations that cause you to feel that way. The universe does not understand not, does not understand don't, does not understand never, does not understand always. Using words like this keep you in a bind. Using words like this, never, not, always, these words keep you in a bind. And spirit, God, the universe always has to prove to you that there is more. There's more than what you are seeing, feeling, and thinking on the human level. Everything is always beyond what you just see. See, for me, the resistance of holding on to body weight or holding on to extra fat or still all of this after I had my first kid, I missed at that time, I wasn't recognizing the blessing that spirit, the blessing and the lesson that spirit was actually taking me through as to why that manifested and why I held on to extra weight after having kids. Okay. I exercised throughout all of my pregnancies. I ate well throughout all of my pregnancies. I did everything that the doctor, the midwife, the books say that you do in order to snap back. I did all of those things. But what I also did was have a strong resistance or a strong belief that it was not going to be me to be the person who has a baby and cannot get back to the way that they were before. I had a strong resistance to that. I had a belief about that. Okay. I had this, and it really stemmed from insecurity issues. It really stemmed from rejection issues. It really stemmed from traumas like that of feeling like I was only loved, I was only appreciated, I was only wanted for the way that I looked. Okay. I was only wanted, I was only appreciated, I was only loved for the way that I looked. Excuse me. And of course, that's not true. So, because I resisted this thing so much, because I denied it, because I pushed away the idea, the belief of this experience without it being a holistic understanding, Spirit was like, let me prove to you what you think you know, and I'm going to show you that you don't know what you're talking about. Right? And so when I kept on that extra work, the extra weight after I had my son, I had to go within because I was literally bothered. People would ask me, was I pregnant? And it would just make me cringe. It would make me cringe. It would make me feel away. It would make me just be like, I can't believe this. But I had to allow spirit to work through me and help me to understand why that manifested. Part of it manifested is because I had a belief, I had resistance to it, and I really felt like it was a bad thing if I maintained weight after having my kids. Okay? I felt like it was a bad thing if I maintained weight after having my kids. And what Spirit actually downloaded to me after the fact was that I needed to realize one, that I am loved, that I'm valuable, that I'm beautiful, and that I am whole as I am. It doesn't matter what my physical appearance looks like. Love, true unconditional love is from an internal energetic space. It has nothing to do with my external appearance. I had to realize that. I also had to realize through this experience that I am the great mother. And so having the body of a mother is an honor and it is a privilege. But I didn't see it that way at first. Okay? I didn't see it that way at first. And so the very thing that I was resisting, Spirit had made me go through so that I can see the benefit and the beauty of it. Okay? So resistance is when you are going against the flow of what is happening naturally. All right? I give you another example. Some very important people in my life. Very important people in my life, people that I love, going through some relationship issues. And I was talking to one of the people, one of the parties, my sibling. I was talking to him and I was like, hey, you have a strong resistance to breakups, divorce, child support, and everything that comes with that. You have a strong resistance and a strong resentment towards that experience. Why? Because we've had it. Because that's what we went through. I have a strong resistance and resentment towards the idea of divorce, of single parent households, all of those things, because that is what I went through. And I know the trauma that stemmed from that. And so when it comes to my sibling who was going through a kind of rough situation within the relationship, I was trying to explain to my sibling, that the reason why this situation was manifesting so heavily is because a shift needs to happen in perspective. See, we have resistance and resentment when we feel like an experience is all bad. When we feel like, oh, if my parents get a divorce, if I get a divorce, this is the end of the world. My kids are going to be damaged. I'm going to be damaged. I'm not going to be able to bounce back. Child support, all of that stuff like that. That's the belief based off of our childhood experience. I'm telling you what's going on between me and my siblings, the conversation we're having. And I had to explain that the only reason why it will happen that way is because you resist the experience in itself and you are refusing to see the beauty that came out of our parents getting a divorce. The strength that was instilled in us by having a single mother. Okay? The balance of masculine and feminine energy that we indeed got to receive by being able to see our mother in her strength, right? And being able to see our father in his creativity. But the resistance to it based off of the trauma you've experienced is what will make you manifest it. Oh no, I will never be a single mom. I will never be a man on child support. There's so many people who are saying things like that and you end up manifesting it. Because you have this idea that if you have this experience, it is a bad thing. And this is why you are turning around and manifesting the things that you actually don't want. Because you already have this preconceived notion that this thing, whatever it is, it can be brokenness, it could be divorce, it could be becoming a single parent, it could be losing your job, whatever it is, you already have this ingrained idea in your mind that the consequences of it are going to be negative. They're not going to serve you. And Spirit is always trying to show us that everything that we experience, no matter how good or how bad it feels, it is all for our development. So the reason why a lot of you are manifesting things that you don't want is because you truly believe that this thing is going to lead to a negative experience, a negative feeling, a negative thought. And your higher self is like, well, let me prove to you otherwise. Let me show you how a breakup can actually develop you to be your strongest self. Let me show you how going through this time of being broke and not having money can help you to become your strongest self. Right? Spirit had to show me, let me show you how holding on to that extra weight after pregnancy is going to show you that you are loved deeper than you even think. That you are loved not just for how you look, but just for who you are. Okay? So whenever you have a strong resistance to an experience, you're going to end up manifesting that thing. I've talked to so many people on the phone, on complimentary calls, and they just be like, I never wanted to be like my mother. And I'm like, you sound just like your mama. How many of y'all have had that experience where you're like, I'm not going to be like my mama. I'm not going to be like my daddy. But when you reflect on your life and you get it and you have a conversation with someone who is intuitive, with someone who can read you, with someone who understands the mentality, the psychology, and the emotions of things, You turn around and they be like, damn, you didn't want to be like your mama, but you exactly like your mother. How many of y'all have ever had that experience? You don't want to be like your father, but you're exactly like your father. I've had that experience so many times. I've resisted my mother and I've resented my mother. I've had resentment for my mother, but I've healed that, and I've created a healthy relationship with my mother to where I understand who she is, and now she understands who I am, and now I don't have to resist or resent her in who she is. I just let her be who she is, and I be who I am, and I stay tuned into my spirit, to my higher self, and that's my guidance. But there have been so many times where I was like, damn, my mama did this, my mama did that. And then I'm turning around and I'm doing the same shit my mama was doing. That is why, really, my phone just died for real. Oh, really? What's going on? Oh, okay. Alrighty, whatever. Guess this video is just for YouTube because my phone just died. I thought I charged it, plugged it up. Clearly I didn't. Oh, well. So, I had this strong resentment towards my mother for how she treated me as far as my emotions and my behavior goes, right? I used to get whoopings. How many of y'all got whoopings? How many of y'all's parents used to hit that hiney pine when you was a kid? Put a 1 in the chat if you got whoopings when you were a kid. Put a 1 in the chat if you got whoopings when you were a kid. Beatings, whoopings, whatever y'all call them, wherever you're from. Put a 1 in the chat. Let me see. Let me see what y'all got. I ain't seeing no ones. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, we got whoopings, right? And do y'all know my ass was like, I'm not gonna whoop my kids. I resist and still struggle with putting these hands on my kids, right? A strong resistance towards that because I felt like my mother was giving me a whooping, but she wasn't understanding why I was doing whatever it is that I did. I felt like my mom just didn't get me, and that, and I didn't need a whooping. I just needed talking to. That's how I felt. But this morning, y'all, and you can ask Dream. Dream knows. Before we even started having kids, and when we started having kids, I would be like, I'm not gonna whoop my kids. Cause I experienced whooping, and I swear my mama was just doing the most. She was not understanding where I was coming from, all of that, right? So I told Dream, no, we just gonna talk to our kids. Of course, Dream is like, nah, they gonna need that whooping, right? I'm like, no, we just gonna talk to our kids. I resisted physical discipline to our kids. And then I had a daughter. Where Spirit was like, you thought you knew exactly what your mama was doing? Let me show you. Oh, God. My son doesn't even need whoopings. Not from me. Not in my opinion. Like, he doesn't push buttons like my daughter does. Y'all, this morning, I had to ask my daughter 4 times. Y'all know this is inappropriate. She's 3 years old, but she's fully conscious. She's 3 years old, but she's fully conscious. She's conscious. Do you understand? If you read her birthday, she's conscious, right? She's conscious. I had to ask her 4 times to put on her clothes this morning so I could take her to school. 4 times. I said it calmly. I said, come on, Cara, put on your clothes. She just moving slow, ain't doing nothing. Cara, put on your clothes. We need to get ready to go. This her. I said, "Oh, you really are you literally are ignoring me telling you to put on your clothes right now." Ooh, Lord, luckily her daddy walked in the room right then and there, and he's like, "Oh, he went immediately and got the belt." And guess what? I didn't resist that. Because I'm like, I see what my mama was talking about, because if I did some shit like this, I need that whooping. Because the talking calmly, the giving the understanding of why you need to do this, she was disrespectful. She was disrespectful. 100% she was. And so I'm manifesting something I didn't necessarily want. I didn't want to have to whoop my daughter. I didn't want to have to do that. I literally wanted to talk to her and get an understanding and help her to get it. And that's what I want. And I resisted the idea of whooping them because I got whoopings. But my daughter showed me today whoopings are necessary. And I had to get out of this belief that my mother was whooping me just to whoop me because she didn't have another method of discipline and of control. No, there were times where I literally was rebellious and was not listening, just like my daughter was. And I needed that belt. But in that trauma, in that experience, I only was thinking that she was just doing it just to do it, and I wasn't really that bad at the time. So the things that you resist are things that you manifest so that you can get a broader perspective and a broader understanding. So a lot of you are manifesting things that you don't want because you have a false perception on what this thing is going to do in your life. Yeah, Will. It's tough. It's tough. And here's the crazy part, y'all. Even after she got a whooping, and that's the thing that I love about you, Dream, because you're not whooping them hard. They feel it, but it ain't, it ain't a beating. Okay, it's a couple of pops. You get the picture. So even after the little whooping and me telling her, Cara, we need to go. I need to get you to daycare. Da 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 da. Even after that, she still was moving slow. She still was moving slow. She was unbothered. 3 years old. 3 years old. But I also had to have, I like that, Biora, I like that. But I also had to realize here's the balancing act. Here's the balancing act when you manifest things that you've been resisting. The balancing act that is going to come from anything that you manifest, anything that has been in resistance within you, the balancing act is going to come from compassion. I had to learn to have compassion. Okay? I had to have compassion for myself today in this situation and be like, no, she really is taking it there. And the funny part is that me or Dream, we weren't necessarily angry, but we just are recognizing the behavior. So I had to have compassion for myself, but I have compassion for my mother now that I understand what I may have indeed put her through. I also have to have compassion for my daughter because I am pregnant and she's the baby, she's the youngest. And children can feel, right? Children can feel shifts in the energy. She knows very well that there's a baby in my tummy. She knows that she is not a baby. She knows that she's a big girl. She knows that there's another being, another energy coming that is going to take some level of priority. And she has been used to being my girl. Like on my hip, that's my baby. Breastfed her to like 2.5 years of breastfeeding. She is my baby, right? So she's showing these energies that we could see as disrespect, but we could also see it as she's really craving more attention before this baby comes. But I have to show her through that physical discipline and through conversation that the way you get attention and the way that you get love and the way that you get that energy is not through behavior like that. You don't have to do that, baby. When we watching a movie, come sit down next to mommy. Come play in mommy's hair. Okay? You don't have to get attention by going against what your mother said, what your mother is asking of you to do. That's what I had to learn. And that's the thing that I would have liked my mother to understand and recognize. I was the only girl. I was the only girl, right? And that's why we're finding out our gender next Sunday, right? But I was an only girl, and it was tough because growing up with all brothers, I got 4 brothers. Growing up with all brothers, I couldn't be that feminine. I feel some type of way. I'm in my emotions. I need attention type person or type girl. I had to be the girl that was tough, that was going to stand on her own, that was going to do what she got to do, that I had to be a strong girl. Okay? And so, again, when we have any resistance towards any type of aspect, we end up manifesting so that we can have a greater understanding. Okay? I've been telling my brother this, who's going through some issues in his relationship. I'm like, bro, the reason why this is happening is because you resist separations, all of this stuff. You resist it. And I understand why you resist it, because it was tough on us when our parents went through a divorce and they was angry and they was talking bad about each other. It was tough on us. But we got to get out of the mentality that it was all bad, because it wasn't. It wasn't all bad. I have a great mother and a great father, right? Though they did not work out, and though they may have talked bad about each other, though it may have been toxic for us at times, me and my brothers, we still grew up just fine. But still, somewhere in the back of our minds, we have this thought that this is bad, that this doesn't work, and I never want to experience it. I never want to put my child through it. And when you have those strong emotions towards something, you're going to manifest it so that you can understand that regardless of what it looks like, you have to go beyond perception and recognize the spirit in the experience. And whenever you manifest something that you don't want, whenever you manifest something that you have had resistance towards, it is because it is to teach you, help you, heal you. It's to help you to heal. So you got to get out of the mentality of anything being bad, right? And anything really being good, but we got to get into the mentality and into the spirit of everything is always working out for me. I resist arguments. I resist arguments. I resist confrontation, but I'm more confrontational than Dream is. Ain't that crazy as hell? It's crazy as hell that Dream is so easygoing. I could say something to him that may be a little snappy. He may not like it, but he's not gonna argue with me over it. He's gonna be like, all right, cool, whatever. You know, it's water off a duck's back, right? Me, on the other hand, I resist confrontation. I resist arguments. Why? Because I know what my parents went through. But I'm also the most sensitive one, and I'm always mad. I mean, now let me not say always. And I'm learning not to resist confrontation, but to understand that everything doesn't have to be confrontational. Does that make sense? Like Dream could say the simplest thing to me, and I will probably respond a little snappy. It could be the pregnancy. It could be the Cancer moon, the Cancer energy. It could be all of those things. But what I know is that disagreements and arguments is something that I resist and that I cannot stand. But I'm the first one within our relationship to say something that could possibly entice a confrontation. And that's because I am learning and understanding now that every comment is actually not confrontational. Every criticism is not confrontational. I get to choose how I want to perceive the situation. That is what I'm trying to explain to y'all. The things that you resist are the things that you bring forth. The things that you resist are the things that you bring forth the most and the quickest. And we do that because we have such a strong emotional connection to those things. And that emotional connection is, I never want to experience this, or I always experience that. Okay? So if you ever find yourself in your mind using words like, nah, that'll never be me. If you ever find yourself saying words like that, nah, I always am doing this. If you ever find yourself using words like that, I want to challenge you to broaden your perspective before anything does manifest that you don't necessarily want. Because when you have those strong emotions, when you have those strong thoughts, Spirit is like, I can show you better than I can tell you. Okay? Put a 1 in the chat if y'all are catching my drift and you understand what I am laying down to you right now. Put a 1 in the chat if you are catching my drift and you're understanding that what you resist most, you manifest the quickest. I'ma never be broke again. Couple of months later, you like, damn, I'm broke again. I'ma never do that again. I ain't gonna never talk to them family members again. Next thing you know, you inviting them to the house. You inviting them to the house. Crystal Juice and Blue Virginia to be on a whole different type of time. Man, it's a deep thing, y'all. I want y'all to really get out of this resistance and really be open to what is happening. I know I'm learning to be open. You have to. You have to learn to be open to what is happening. I had to learn to be open and receptive to my body after having children. Now I know that after this baby I'm going to have the best body that I've had held prior to having children at all. And that's because I've grown in my consciousness and I've really removed this perception of any one body type being good or bad. It doesn't exist. All body types are beautiful. I had to really get that in my spirit. And it took all of these years to be able to do that. It took all of these years of self-acceptance to be able to do that. But it started off with manifesting something that I didn't want, which was looking in the mirror and being like, damn, all of this is still here? Shit, it's been 5 months. I'm a year postpartum and somebody's still asking me, am I pregnant right now? Okay? It took all of that. It took me, realizing that the relationship that my parents had really, I ain't never eating crawfish again. What, babe? Right after the live. It took all of that, y'all. So I want you to understand that the reason why you are manifesting things that you don't want is because you have a strong resistance towards it. It's because you are fighting it and you don't understand the big picture. You don't get the big picture. You don't get how a person that is broke, a person that is homeless can be happier than the richest man on earth. The universe works in polarity. Okay? The universe works in polarity. Y'all got to understand that. So whenever you are so one-sided with one belief, with one understanding, with one thought process surrounding any one thing, Spirit is like, oh, I got to show you that there's a complete opposite side. Okay? And so what do I want y'all to do? Okay? This is what I want y'all to do. I want y'all to release resistance, period. Okay? If something shows up in your life, I want you to recognize when you have this tendency to fight it. Because if you have a tendency to fight whatever is showing up, that lets you know that you have a belief surrounding that thing and you don't understand that it is working for your favor. So I want you to get creative. I want you to get creative when resistance, when shit shows up in your life. I want you to get creative. I want you to get creative when these different tests, these different trials and tribulations show up in your life. I want you to, before you start labeling and judging and placing this negative belief on any experience, I don't care how bad it is to your human egoic mind. I don't care how bad it is. I want you to really go to your spirit, and it will take time. I'm still working on truly being unconfrontational. Okay? I'm still working, and it's only in my intimate relationships, y'all. That's it. What are some examples to remove the resistance? We're going to talk about it right now. I want you to truly go within and ask your spirit, what is this serving to teach me? I don't know if y'all understand the power and the impact of that question. What is this serving to teach me? If anything is teaching you something, whatever lesson you are learning from it is the blessing. Whatever growth you extract from a situation, that's the blessing. That's what your soul, that's what your spirit was actually needing. So you recognize resistance, okay? You recognize resistance when these negative emotions come up, these negatively charged emotions come up, when these habitual emotions come up, okay? I was always afraid back in the day of living paycheck to paycheck. And every single time bills would come, every single time a check would come, money in my pockets, like money I just got paid, I'm already in my head thinking, okay, how am I gonna pay this bill? What am I gonna do? Okay, do I have enough? Da, 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 da. Those questions is resistance and a lack of trust. Okay? I'm like, no, I never want to be broke, man. I never want to be broke. Resisting it because I grew up with a single mother who had to work hard to take care of her kids. And she always said, um, things like money don't grow on trees. So I had a strong resistance to that, but I didn't understand. And I was manifesting brokenness. I had a strong resistance to not having money, and I was manifesting not having money. But I didn't understand that even in not having money, I could still have joy, I could still have gratitude, I could still have peace. I had to understand that money was all around me. I had to understand that me as a being is a resource within itself, and that my own personal energy is what can attract me more finances. I didn't have to go to work to get more. But I wouldn't have come to that conclusion if I wasn't working 2, 3 jobs trying to pay for this apartment and this car and trying to live this hot girl life. I wouldn't have understood that if I didn't struggle. So you got to remove that resistance to whatever it is that you're experiencing. You got to remove that want to hurry up and be out of whatever situation you are in. Okay? All right? When we have these experiences, we know we're in resistance when we're fighting it. When we're like, no, I don't want to experience that. Why is this happening to me? You ask some questions like that. Why is this happening to me? You're in resistance. The better question is, why is this happening for me? Why is this happening for me? How is this helping me, really? What am I learning from this? How is this making me to deepen my connection to my spirit and to my higher self? These are the questions you got to ask yourself. And you have to allow your spirit to give you the answers. And anytime you feel those emotions of wanting to fight and wanting to resist, whatever the situation may be, like we about to go to the gym right now. We probably gonna do some squats or something, and I be resisting that shit. I'm like, I want to do it, but then I don't want to do it because I be tired, my legs be burning, and all of that stuff like that. But I'm not gonna fight the burn. I'm going to embrace the burn that is going to take place in my legs and in my ass and on my body. I'm going to embrace it because I know it's going to make me stronger. You understand? Okay. We're all in some mode right now. The great mama speaking to us. Thank you, Will. I'm sick of listening to everything I'm doing wrong, especially this shit. Oh, you're not going to the gym? Oh, the gym is done? Okay. All right, well, since the gym is done, I'm gonna do my workout at home. Wahid Muhammad, what you talking about in the chat? Wahid, what you talking about? I'm sick of listening to everything I'm doing wrong, especially the shit I'm not doing right. Huh. That's interesting, brother. I'm sick of, that's resistance right there. You already know you're resisting something. It sounds like you're resisting criticism. I know a lot about resisting criticism because I don't like it. So you need to, I love being so honest with y'all. I don't like criticism. I swear it is something that I'm learning to deal with and I'm learning every day. But you got to see, Wahid, because I felt the way that you felt in that comment in the chat. I felt that way many a times. And what you got to stop doing is taking blame and taking ownership for other people's opinions. What somebody says to you is just their opinion. You don't have to own it if you don't want to. But if it's pissing you off like that, then there's a part of you that may agree. And that's okay if there's a part of you that may agree. And it's okay if there's a part of you that's frustrated that somebody is calling you out on some shit that you don't want to be in and that you don't want to recognize and that you don't want to, experience. That's okay. But I'm here to tell you that those feelings is the resistance. And you got to get a broader understanding of what's being communicated to you. You got to get a broader understanding of the emotions that you're feeling. Okay? I had to, and I had to say, okay, you know what? Some criticism is good. There's some criticism that I'm willing to listen to. There's other criticism I'm letting go over my head. Because some people are criticizing. Some people got something to say because they hate. Do I got to get mad at what they're saying? No. I just got to recognize they haters. Some criticism comes from a place of love, where people actually want you to be better and they want you to grow. And it may be challenging to accept that, but you got to take a deep breath and say, okay, all right, what can I take from this? Okay. I know it happens to me in Dream all the time. He be telling me stuff. I be like, oh, be quiet. But he always knows after I get over the initial resistance, the initial emotion, the initial frustration of whatever it is he telling me about my YouTube video, whatever it is he telling me about my business plan. After I get over the initial frustration of it because it's been an emotional habit. So your resistance, oh, okay, Spirit, I thought I was done. Your resistance to anything in your life is an emotional habit. I'm going to never stay with a girl if she cheat on me. I'm going to never stay with a man if he cheat on me. I'm going to always do this. You've been mentally trained to think that that's what you're going to do. And then a situation manifests and your whole mind splatters and is expanded to understand that you have another choice that you can make other than that one choice you thought was the end all and be all. You don't gotta be frustrated. I don't gotta be frustrated at nothing anybody says to me. I can choose. But it has been an emotional habit to get frustrated if somebody try to check me on something. I'm just telling y'all the truth. But the fact that I am consciously aware of this means that when these situations happen, I can choose. I can say, okay, you know what? This coming from Dream. He loves me, and I know he loves me. Okay, what is it you're saying? What do I need to do? Okay, I need to post more. I need to go live more. All right. I resist even doing that, but I do want to grow. So I'm going to do it. I had to make choices. When these women was coming, how far along are you? I'm like, ma'am, first of all, I'm not even pregnant. I had to say, actually, you know what? I'm not pregnant. There's actually this thing called diastasis recti, which is when the muscles in your belly split. And it's hard to rebuild those muscles to bring your stomach back in. So that's kind of what I'm dealing with. I had to choose. I had to choose how I was going to respond. And here's the deep spiritual part. the more I respond from that emotional habituation, the more I respond from that emotional habituation, the more I must experience the same damn thing over and over and over again. Y'all, these women would ask me if I was pregnant. I'd be at the grocery store. I'd be in random ass places and they asked me if I was pregnant. And when I got that emotion of frustration and was mad as hell, that I would be calling Dream. Somebody then asked me if I was pregnant again. Mad as hell. But that emotion, that resistance to that experience made it kept happening. Once a week. Once a week, somebody was asking me, was I pregnant? The emotional resistance, the emotional habit to not wanting to have that experience made it keep coming up until I said, oh, I need to do something different with this experience in my internal emotional state of being. I need to do something different. And so when somebody would ask me, I had to, actually, there's something called diastasis recti, which has happened to a lot of pregnant women when their muscles don't come back together and it leaves them with a little baby pouch. That's what I'm working with right now. Oh, you know what? I think I've heard of that. You know what? My mama got that. Shit, I think I kind of got that too. I had to disarm myself from feeling like whenever they were saying that to me, that they were coming for me, that meant something bad and all of that. And then on a broader perspective, I had to realize that being a mother is one of the most sacred things, the most sacred thing that a woman will ever do. Carrying a child, having life within her womb. So every time a woman asked me, was I pregnant? Instead of me responding with resistance, I embraced it. And I said, and I embraced it in a mental, spiritual way that says, I am the great mother. So I'm always pregnant. You feel me? I'm always pregnant with a spiritual idea, with a creative idea, or with a child. But I'm always pregnant with something. So if a woman asks me if I'm pregnant when I'm not, I don't got to take offense to it because that's resistance. And the more I resistance, the more I manifest it. So instead of resisting it and feeling some type of way about what they were asking me, I embraced it. I found the power that lies within pregnancy. Okay? So you got to get out of the emotional habit to fight your experience. Okay? When you keep fighting your experience, you're fighting the blessing, you're fighting the lesson, you're fighting the understanding. Okay? You're fighting it. And you got to stop. Because you're fighting it, you're resisting it is the very reason why it keeps manifesting in your life. You not recognizing the beauty in not having money is why you keep fighting it. Ha! If you are a person that's dealing with not having money and you like, damn man, I'm just trying to make some money to feed my kids. How can you feed? And you need to feed your kids on the physical level. Obviously, that needs to happen. But spiritually, how can you tap into I'm feeding my kids love? I'm feeding my kid. Maybe they can't go to Monkey Joe's. Maybe they can't go to Chuck E. Cheese. Maybe they can't go to these little outdoor adventures. But hell, you can take them in the front of the parking lot and have fun with them. But you stuck in the idea that you got to have money to do something fun with your kids. Y'all got to understand this stuff. Y'all got to understand how you are creating. Stop fighting yourselves, y'all. Stop fighting yourselves. Because it's really you that is causing these manifestations to take place in your life. It's you, your higher self. And your higher self is like, I want you to understand, overstand. I want you to truly understand what is taking place and how you grow and how you learn and how you evolve from this situation. You sure do take your kids to the backyard. I be trying to take them to the water park. You be trying to take them to the backyard. I take them to the back park, to the back porch. That's hilarious. There's blessings in that, and there's so much beauty in that simpleness. Okay? So get out of the limited thinking, family. Get out of the resistance and fighting what is taking place in your life. I don't really care what it is. It can be an argument. It can be a literal argument that you're having with your partner. Don't resist it. Don't be like, you know what, I ain't having this conversation with you. Don't do that. Dive head first into that thing and realize what it's serving to teach you. Okay? So the reason why you are manifesting the things you don't want, the reason why you are manifesting the things that you don't want is because you have a resistance towards it. And that resistance is created by an emotional habit and a habitual belief and thought form or thought process that you have surrounding whatever that situation is. And the reason and how you release that is by detaching from the emotion, detaching from the vibration and the idea that a specific experience is bad. You got to detach from the judgment of it all. And you really have to shift your vibration. I promise y'all, when I shifted my vibration and stopped feeling like somebody was coming for me for asking if I was pregnant, when I stopped doing that, people stopped asking. I haven't been asked that for maybe 2 years. And there was a point in time where I was being asked that regularly for a whole year. Okay? So I had to, and you need to, shift your vibration surrounding whatever experience you're in. Shift your understanding, shift your perspective. When you do that, you take away the power of this thing manifesting. Because the way things manifest is strictly by emotion and thought. So if your mind is always on that thing that you don't want, if your emotions are always attached to that thing that you don't want, that's what you're going to create. Okay? So shift your perspective. Shift your perspective. Okay? Come up with some new creative ideas. Ask yourself these questions. Write this down. I want y'all to write this down. Okay? Because I need you to be able to do this for yourself at the drop of a dime whenever you need it. Okay? You're going to write this down. And here's the funny thing, Will. He's not lying. The petting zoo or the zoo itself is PetSmart, Petco, one of them places like that. Write these questions down to ask yourself whenever you're in a space of resistance or triggered. Ask yourself, how is this working out for me? How is this working out for me? That's one question to ask yourself. Another question to ask yourself is, what am I gaining or learning from this experience? What am I gaining or learning from this experience? Another question to ask yourself is, how is this situation helping me to be better, helping me to grow, helping me to evolve? And then you could ask yourself this question: why do I feel like this experience is a bad one? Why do I feel like this is a bad thing? Okay? Those are some simple questions to ask yourself. Our kids are young. They enjoy the simple pleasures. They definitely enjoy the simple pleasures. Okay? So those are some questions to ask yourself. And I want y'all to understand, you get to choose what you create and what you don't create. Okay? You get to choose. Alrighty? Y'all have a great, happy Friday. Like Snow Allegra said, I fall for you every time I try to resist you. Every single time you try to resist, all you do is bring that thing closer to you. So keep that in your heart. Really think about that as you move forward throughout the day, throughout the weeks, throughout the months, throughout the years. All right? Talk to y'all later, family. Peace.